Hi, and welcome to Diversity in the Community. I am your host, Theresa Harris. I am so excited to have a friend with me today, a very, very talented woman. Her name is Kimberly Cannon, but I want to say a little bit about Kim before I let her talk about herself. When I attended Kim's show at the Carriage House for the first time, I had no idea what to expect. By the time the attendees and I walked out the door, we had experienced many things. First, laughter, then gasps, then tears and laughter again. To have one person stand in front of an audience with very few props and a small book and some notes, to be able to cause so many emotions was incredible. With that said, I'd like to introduce you to my friend, my sister girl, Kimberly Cannon. Hi, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Theresa. I'm glad to be here. You are amazing as well, definitely.
I've been trying to get you to come and do something for a long time.
Yes.
And so I'm so happy to hear because you have touched so many lives. And I'm glad we're doing this because you can always share with people, you know, because sometimes we're limited to a space, but thank goodness for like YouTube and,
of course.
And stuff like that. So just welcome, sweetheart. I'm glad you're here. Tell us something about yourself. Look in your camera and just tell us.
Okay. And the show that you're talking about, I didn't start off doing a show. What I actually started doing was writing a book, which I didn't even realize I was doing. I was writing Post-it notes, putting them in a shoebox for a couple of years, and then when I finally opened the box and looked through, I was like, oh my gosh, these are chapters. So it amazes me that I never reached out to anybody, I never talked to anybody, I never asked anybody how to do this. I never looked at other authors or looked at other books or anything. So when I, laid all my pages down and I realized it was chapters, so I started writing a book. Fast forwarding, I wrote the book, and when UPS delivered my first copy, I followed the UPS guy around because my book was so small, it was so tiny. Every stop he made, I just sat there and looked in the truck. And at the end of the run, he said, I can't find it. I said, I know it's in there. I know it's in there. He found it. But I had a book reading. And when I had the book reading, because it's my book, my life, my story, I guess it was very moving. And the few people, I think it was 5 people in my apartment, they said, you know what, you should do a one-woman show. And that's how it got started, and that was in 2015. I made my own ticket on a piece of an envelope in a restaurant. I opened a post office box and had people send me checks to pay for the book, because I hadn't even printed copies of it. So I was selling this little book like 2 years in advance. And just people believed in me and thought it was great, and even some people didn't even, they just said, just keep the money.
Right.
And they just came to shows, and a lot of folks have been to several shows. I think I've done at least maybe 17 or 20.
Wow. Starting when did you start all of, with the
2015.
shows? 2015.
And my next show is September 14th, 2024.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that a lot. We're going to repeat it a lot so that people will know,
Sure.
don't forget. And so now what is the name of the show? What are you calling the program?
Well, it originally started off because when I did it, it was very emotional. It was almost very therapeutic for me. So it was a lot of characters in there, and I would dress up like a homeless person, or I would dress up like a pregnant wife, or, I would dress up as all of these characters. So that went on for years. So the most recently, when I changed it to, instead of the Kim Cannon's one-woman show, I changed it to the House of Gratitude. So it's just been the House of Gratitude for like the last 3 shows.
Right, right, right.
Because that's when God kind of spoke to my heart and said, I want you to get behind this. I've had you be in front of it as the Kim Cannon's Wonder Woman show, but I want you to get behind it. And so
Okay.
now it's the House of Gratitude.
Okay. One other thing that we didn't start out talking about, you also, you're an artist. And so how did you learn to draw like you, it was just, it just came naturally?
Yeah, it came naturally. I was about maybe 7 or 8. And remember the McCall's magazine?
Yeah.
Oh, if a model was not smiling, I would give her teeth. If she didn't have eyelashes, I would give her long eyelashes. Yeah, and if she had, you know, very small lips, I would make her lips bigger. If she was white, I would give her an afro and color her skin in. So this was happening, I would say 7, 8, like 14, 15, and then I just evolved doing that. And I never went to school or went to art classes or anything.
That's amazing, though.
I mean, literally, it amazes me too because, and I'm still amazed by the least effort to do what I've been doing. And I finally, you know, at this age, coming into my life where it's like, effortless works for me. If I had structure, I would not be able to function.
Yeah.
I need to be able to flow and move about. And so that's how the book came about. That's how the art came about. And so it was just a very free-flowing thing. And I think a lot of times with young artists coming up, they want to dot their I's and cross their T's. And I'm just like, just run out there.
Yeah.
Just do it and see what happens. Do a piece of art if you like it. And I have to mention Courtney Gardner was my art teacher at Fox Middle School.
Okay.
And I remember I did a piece of art and she was walking around the class looking at everybody's art. And when she got to I was so excited. So I did this art piece and I held it up. I said, so what do you think? And she said, what do you mean? What do I think? And I said, well, you know, like she was a teacher. I wanted her opinion, you know. And she said, no, I'm not going to tell you what I think because you'll base every future piece of artwork on my opinion.
Wow.
And she said that what matters is what do you think?
Yeah.
That changed the trajectory of my life, even paying real bills. I mean, it weaved itself into every aspect of my life. To do what I wanted to do and to believe it was good and it was wonderful and to accept it. So when I started doing my art, nobody was doing stuff that I was doing, and I was just, it was fine. I just put it out there.
And your stuff is, how would I say, distinct, if that's the right word, because I was over someone's house and was in their kitchen, I think, and they had these two little pictures of this chubby lady, and I don't know if she was cooking or holding something up, and I said, that looks like something a friend of mine does. And I looked down and I saw the name on there. So you have been doing that for a while.
Yeah, I think I first started officially putting my artwork out there maybe in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was doing, you know, people could see what I was drawing. It was just really like friends and family. And someone would say, could you do an illustration for my beauty salon? Or could you do something for illustrate a book for me? And so I started doing that. And even with that, I was just, okay. I never glamorized it or was like, look at what I can do. I just did what I can do, and people followed it. And so, like I said, now I'm just getting into the point where it was like, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah. And not only drawing on a board or whatever, you also, you do bags, you do, I mean, you do so many things.
Yeah, I think the thing that was very pivotal for me when I had a woman, and as artists, as most artists know, you're like a struggling artist. I never was a starving artist, but I was a struggling artist for a very long time. And that gives you a lot of grounding, and you believe in yourself, but it also, that hustle and grind is fierce. You really have to not look to the left, not to the right. You can't go out. You really can't party. You can't hang out with your friends sometimes, because if you're committed to what you want to do, it takes pride and it takes stillness. And it takes a lot of time alone. So just having gatherings or people coming over, I was just locked down.
Okay.
And the first thing I did a show, and I never forget, I did not even have the refreshments, and I even talk about that now. So I went down to the gas station, I got 2 bags of peanuts, and I put them in a really pretty bowl, and I got a big gallon of that orange tang-like stuff. Oh, and put it in some pretty paper cups with some napkins. It was beautiful. And I had a woman come to the show, and she was walking around with one of my greeting cards for like an hour. And I'm like, lady, I gotta pay my light bill. Are you gonna get something? Are you gonna? She just walked around and she was just holding this greeting card. And so finally she came up to me, just like when the little art show was ending. She said, I really love this. Could you do this for me in my home as a mural?
Wow.
So this greeting card was $3 and it went to $2,000.
Wow.
I was so scared because I was used to doing small pieces like a postage stamp or a greeting card. And here I am up on a ladder with a bandana and overalls going to Home Depot for paint.
Wow.
I was so terrified, but that was the first level of the terrifying part. She called me back the next day. I saw her name on my phone, because back then you had answering machines.
Yeah.
And I didn't answer it. I let it roll, because I thought she was going to say, I don't like the way, this person's hand is or something like that, because it's not like it's a document. Anytime there's an original art, it's not a graphic design like you could go on a computer and hit a couple of taps and erase an earring.
Right.
You would have to draw it again all over. So her message said, my son loved it. Could you come back and do another one?
Wow.
Over his bedroom door.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so that gives you a level of confidence, even though I was scared, even though I was tired, even though I was broke, I still kept doing it. Because you don't need a whole lot of inspiration.
Yeah.
When you're doing what you love, if somebody just likes it a little bit, you're like a little kid. You're like, really?
Yeah.
So it doesn't take a lot.
Yeah. Now, without you going into your story, what made you start telling your story as a part of, I don't even want to call it a stand-up, whatever.
Yeah.
It was, to me, when I went, to me it was ministry, because it touched so many people. But what started you to stand in front of an audience and tell your story?
I wish I could say something real profound, but I have no idea. I mean, I did the book reading, and one of the things, I remember the day of the show, September 15th, at the Carriage House. The show started at 12, and I was at Whole Foods at like 11:30. And I just said to God, why am I not nervous? Because I had never done this before. I'd never spoken in front of a group of people or had done anything like that. And he said, you're not nervous because you're talking about your life.
Right.
So when I went in, I just did the book reading, but I was just standing up. And there were a lot of people in the audience that were my friends, and some of my family was there. So I wasn't scared. I wasn't nervous at all. And I had my artwork on stage, so the backdrop of the stage looked like my apartment. So I was very comfortable and very cozy. So to say what made me, it was just a very fluid coming into. There was no big, thunderbolt or God spoke to me and I fell to my knees or anything like that. It was just like I was walking down the street. I always use the example that I was just at the top of a slide and he just pushed me down. It wasn't, I didn't have a chance to hold on or grab anything or say.
Laugh at everything. That's all right.
Exactly. Let's see if it stays
it's
up
good.
there. Good. Yeah. So we, when I started on that journey, it just accelerated. It just accelerated so fast. Because now when I did it, I remember I was doing 2 shows like Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
It started because people were just really, really loving it because it's very personalized, and you know, people would walk out of the theater crying, and because it was reaching personalities and families so deeply that I didn't even realize. And you know, people would, you know, text me or call me and later and say, Kim, I had to walk out of your show. I just cried in my car for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, or I laughed and laughed and laughed.
Yeah.
So it was very encouraging to hear that, and I realized, wow, this is a need. This is and this is really a ministry.
It really is. Like I said it at the start, when I went to your very first show, I think I was at someone else's show, and they said, this young lady is having another show. Come and support her. I didn't know anything about Kim Cannon, and I came to that show, and like I said, it was amazing, because like I said at the beginning, it went from people laughing to people being quiet and like, oh my God, I can't believe, and then laughing again. And like I said, all I remember you having was one little piece of paper or something in your hand, you know, and it was really, really amazing. And that's why I know that not just your story, but everything that just needs to get out, because people.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, there's so many people need to hear. And like one lady that was at one of your shows, one of the last shows, I remember, she said what she got from that show that day, she would have had to pay lots of money.
Oh, that was so sweet.
Yeah,
that
can you say something about that?
Yeah, she emailed, she hit me up on Facebook, and she said, do you know how much it would have cost for me to get the therapy I got today with your show? That really just took me down. And it took a long time, because whenever you're getting ready to do, and you know this too, just in your service of what you do, and just being, you know, loving the Lord, it was very like, wow, I felt almost like weird to call it a ministry. It took me a long time to do that. But over time, when I saw what was happening, now when I go to a show, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about until I'm standing up there. So that's the thing that's really makes it a ministry, because I am listening to God speak the second I step on that stage or in that environment. So it's almost like these bubbles, like Charlie Brown bubbles, pop up over people's heads.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I need to talk about family, or I need to talk about finances, or I need to talk about starting a business today, or I need to talk about forgiveness or gratitude. So whatever the opening is, that's what I talk about. So that's the reason why there's no paper or no script or anything, because I'm really relying on what God is saying. There's no script. I don't have an opinion about it. If people are blessed by it, that happens to be so, but I don't walk in there saying we're going to talk about gratitude or we're going to, you know, talk about anything in particular.
Now I want to announce your program, time, place again. We're going to say that a few times before we go up, just so people won't forget.
Sure. My next House of Gratitude is at the Universalist Church in West Hartford, 433 Fern Street, and it's in Fiske, September 14th, 12 to 2 p.m., and the doors open at 11:30. We start promptly at 12, and we stop like 1:45. I mean, we stop promptly at 2.
Okay.
And like 1:45, you know, I'll take some questions or just walk around and interact with people. But I'm just, you know, conscious of the facility.
Okay.
With the time that I have, you know, been given, and I'm, you know, I honor that.
So is there any like contact information? Can anybody contact you, or are you just going to?
Yeah, I'm on, it's on social media. I'll give you my email address too. It's kimcaninc@gmail.com. And I'm Kimberly Cannon on Facebook, but on Instagram, I'm Kim Possible, Z as in zebra, 1.
Say that again.
Kim Possible,
Okay.
Z as in zebra, 1 on Instagram.
Okay. All right. Now, another book that you have. Well, I know out of the
corner of my eye, yeah.
That's kind of like your life, story a little
Yeah,
bit, right?
yeah, that's like the anchor for all of the shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was written in 2015.
Right. Yeah. So that is a phenomenal book.
It's a little, you know, it's just a little book, and I remember when I was getting it printed, and the guy said, you know, this book, you can put 2 staples in it. It's like a brochure. I said, well, I'm going to add some blank pages in the back because I want it to have a spine. Because if it's on a shelf in a bookstore, I want somebody to see it. So it was just a little tiny book, and I write like I read. So it's not heavy. It's very short and light. Each chapter is maybe 1.5 pages. Because if I have to read something and they describe a cherry staircase for 6 or 7 hours, I just put the book down.
It's light, but it's got a lot of powerful stuff in that book.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
You know, people are surprised by it.
Yeah.
Some people read it 2 and 3 and 4 times.
Yeah.
And a gentleman that lives in my building, he read it, and he said, I read your book twice. He says, and you know, I have to ask you, does anybody know who you are? He's like, because, you know, like I was famous or something, and because he read the book, and then he came to the show.
It's because every time somebody goes to one of the shows, they come out telling everybody what they heard at the show. And you're such a positive, upbeat person, and so to balance the shock of things, and then the next thing you know, we are laughing. It's it really touches people, and that's why I just wish everybody could come out and hear you speak.
And you know, thank you so much, Theresa. The other thing, I think the reason it has the impact is because it takes the sting out of drama and trauma. See, a lot of people think that what they've gone through, they're the only ones going through it.
Right, exactly.
And so they have been held hostage by this belief that what they've gone through is so hard and so harsh, and they can't see a light in it, whether it's something personal or family or financial struggle that they've gone through. But life is just easy. Like, you know, they say life happens. Well, it does happen, but you got to just roll with it.
Yeah.
Because no matter, hey, the sun is going to come out, and if you don't like it, then you have to pull your shades down, but that sun is going to stay out there.
Yes. Yeah.
Until it goes down when it's supposed to. So there's certain things in life you have to get to a point of, what I like to say is there's hope and there's surrender.
Yeah.
And hope requires expectation. It comes with expectation. You're hoping. So if something doesn't turn out the way that you want it to, then you become hopeless.
Right.
But if you surrender, you don't have any hope. You're just holding on to the hem of God's garment in the dark, just walking around. And to me, that's a better quality of life, especially for me. When you care too much, when you're too invested, these kind of things can be very hard for your life just in general.
Yeah.
And, you know, the negative thoughts that are going through your mind and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, you could just be washing dishes and a horrible thought will just spear, almost harpoon through your head. You know, you could be sitting in church.
Yeah.
And you're just praising God, and then boom, you know, and just to understand that that is normal. Nothing is wrong with you. It's normal.
Right.
So I combat those kinds of thoughts with gratitude, and I use that as an example that you have to, it doesn't sound real spiritual, but you really have to learn to weaponize gratitude. And what I mean by that is, if you're in the shower and you get a negative thought, immediately rebound and say, wow, look at me, I'm taking a shower without a CNA.
Yeah.
I'm standing in here and I can brush my own teeth.
Yeah.
Wow, I can actually sit down and lotion my legs by myself. And then the negative thought just disappears.
Yeah.
Because you've used gratitude, and it takes practice to get that stamina of gratitude up. That's why I call it the house of gratitude, because it's very important that we turn to that instead of, you know, you don't have to bind and kick and fight. When it hits you, just look at me sitting here. I remember one of these ministers said he uses the red light as an opportunity to meditate. Just relax. Try to relax. And you have so much more life when you do that.
Yes. 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 Now, one of the things that you have is, I love the quotes that you put. Those are your quotes.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, and if they're not mine, the name of whoever it is on there.
And they make so much sense. If someone is dead wrong, give them the permission to stay that way.
Yeah. Yes. If they say 1 + 1 is 2, 1 + 1 is 5, you're just like, awesome, and you just go on about your business. So
instead of arguing with them.
Oh no, and I have another one that I say, I would love to give you a piece of my mind, but I need it. I can't. I would love to, but I can't. I need my mind, so I can't give you a piece of it.
Yeah, they just make so much sense. They make me laugh. Before you lift somebody up, find out how long they've been down there.
Yes, because some people live there.
Yeah.
And there's another quote that says, there's some people that change when they want to, and there's some people that die before they get around to it. So you need to know the difference. You have to change sometimes your prayers, because when you've been praying and praying and praying and praying for someone to change, what has happened, you have changed.
Yeah.
And what you have done is you over time you just feel defeated. So you just have to transition from, Lord, you know, anything specific, and say, Lord, just let their will be done in their life, because I'm going to go to the movies. I'm just going to go to the movies. I got things to do. I know it sounds bad, but it's just...
That's the thing, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah. Like I have another quote that says, if you're at the end of your rope, like I would be at church sometime, you hear people pull another knot and keep on struggling. And I'm like, no. If you're at the end of your rope, just put it down. Why are you going to tie a knot and keep... No, I'm not struggling. No.
There's another one. Treat all negative thoughts like you would a fly at a cookout.
Yes.
Squash it. Flatten.
Yeah.
They're funny, but they make so much. They make so much sense.
Yeah.
What's this one? This is about the T-shirt that you have, and I love it. Even the and I know you probably won't be doing a lot of those anymore, but as long as I'm alive, I might as well be incredible.
Yes, and that's how I felt, because you have to call yourself what you want to be.
Yeah. Yes.
You have to, I think it was Brene Brown that said the health industry, the health and makeup industry would suffer if we all woke up and looked in the mirror and said, look at you, how beautiful you are, instead of, oh God, you know. But I really believe that as long as you're alive, you might as well be incredible.
Yeah.
Because what else what are you going to do?
Right.
So people believe it because they know they don't want to hear, as long as I'm alive, I might as well be tired.
Yeah.
Or I might as well be exhausted, or I might as well give up, you know. So it's easier to let that resonate in your spirit until you believe it.
Right.
And if somebody, you know, I think it was Tiffany Haddish, somebody asked her how she was doing. She said, I'm awesome. How are you? You know, or I'm successful.
Yeah.
Say how you feel, you know. And even if I remember my mother got in an elevator one day and it was pouring down rain, and someone asked her how she was doing, and she said, outstanding and improving. And then everybody in the elevator was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm outstanding and improving.
Yeah.
What else?
Right. I love it. I love it. One thing we didn't talk about was your cookbook.
Oh.
Out the corner of my kitchen. Now, how did you come up with that? I remember you used to always throw stuff together and it tastes so good. Oh my God. So
yeah. Well, you know, I've always loved cooking, and I cook the way I do my art. I experiment. I will make some chocolate cornbread, okay? And, you know, I'll make some fried biscuits, you know. And it's just, again, the way that I did my art, the way that I wrote my book, the way that I do my one-woman shows. I was cooking during COVID, and I would post pictures on Facebook. They were like, oh my gosh. And they said, you know what, you should write a cookbook. And I was like, done.
yeah.
And that's how it started. It wasn't anything I was meeting with Chef Boyardee or anybody. I just...
Yeah. Yeah. And so how's that been going so far?
Oh, I can't even tell you how many books I've had printed and sold.
Wow.
And they're just, you know, people love them because they're filled with anecdotes and quotes and things. It's not just cooking.
Yeah, right.
And I even say in the book, in the introduction, I said, don't look for measurements because I'm not good at math. So just, you know,
a dash of this and
a dash of this and a dash
hand of that,
and a hand of that and
Yeah.
a sprinkle of this. And
Yeah.
I said, remember when you were a kid, when you looked at books, there was no words in there. It was just pictures.
Yeah.
So you look at
Yeah.
some fried okra, you look how it looks, and you just fry it like you fried chicken. That's it. I'm not going to give you, you know, this and this and this. But yeah, so you just, you know, life is just like that. Very simple, very easy.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So that's how that started. And like I said, someone said you should write a cookbook.
Okay. All right. Say one more time where this show is going to be.
Yes, this is the House of Gratitude. It's going to be at the Universalist Church in West Hartford, 433 Fern Street in Fiske.
Okay.
12 to 2 p.m. It's a Saturday, September 14th.
Now, I know that I don't know if you plan exactly what you're going to, but what should people expect when they come to, I know what to expect when I come to the program.
Right.
I leave in awe, just like
Right.
everybody else, and people stand and talk for the next
I
hour
know.
after the show to say, oh my God, didn't you? Oh my, it's all, every show I've been to, that's what happens. But what should people expect when they come to the program?
They, you know, and I use this term very loosely, but they should expect to be loved,
Yes.
entertained,
Yes.
embraced,
Yeah.
celebrated. That's what they should expect, and that's exactly what they're going to get. And another woman that came to the show, she had to be close to 90, and she gave me her name. Let's say her name was Cynthia Cornwall.
Okay.
Okay, just use that as an example. And after she said, "Hi, my name is Cynthia Cornwall," and so after the show, I saw her outside in the parking lot, and I said, "Oh, Miss Cornwall, did you enjoy the show?" She said, "Honey, call me Cynthia." I was like, "Oh my God." So that just made my day, because I was like, how sweet is that? I became her best friend. You know, and she's like almost 90.
And that's one other thing about your program that I noticed, that it's not all black,
Right.
it's not all white, not all certain age. There is a mixture of people that are always at your show.
Oh, and this last show was really surprising, because I had a lot of people there that were in their 80s.
Yeah.
And one of the women that's a very good friend of mine, she comes to my show. She's late 80s, and she always comes to the show, and she says, I said, why do you come to the show? My God, you need to be doing your own show. She said, because us old women, we need to learn something. And every time she comes with like 3 and 4 people.
Yeah.
And it's just great.
Because it just shows that you're just touching lives at all ages. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to say, or anything else you can think of that you would like to say?
Well, like I said, the program, the service, the ministry, the show, you know, the House of Gratitude is what it is. And it's without apology, you know, because some people are like, are you going to do this? And are you going to do, there's some things that fall off just over time.
Yeah.
And you can still do them, but that's my main driving goal. And I've done so many things. I would do art shows, I would do so many different things, but I put a lot of that stuff aside.
Yeah.
Because this is where I'm directed to put my energies, because it is so important, especially the world as it is now.
Yes.
So if I can just, you know, reach this little carpet here, then that's what I'm going to do. Because a lot of people don't do anything. They don't do party. They don't do art. They don't sell their cupcakes that they are famous for. They don't open a car wash or do whatever they want to do, because they feel like they can't reach people. But I've been doing this since 2015. I don't care what I do in terms of numbers or people sees me.
Right.
You know, I'm not out there peddling or doing anything. People are, like you said, people are telling other people, and that's how it's getting the reviews that it's getting and the encouragement that it's getting. Because I feel that when people come to the show, like I said, they're going to be loved, and they're going to be celebrated, and there's going to be friendships. And oh my God, people need that so much now.
Yeah, they do.
They need it so much
do.
now. They don't need to be beat over the head with any kind of particular doctrines. You know, some people just need a hug. You know, just to be kissed or, you know, embraced, or have them, someone look them in their eye.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I always felt that I didn't receive those things. So that's why I have so much of it.
Yeah.
It didn't turn me the opposite way. It boomeranged.
Right. It didn't make you bitter.
Not at all. Yeah. It made me incredible.
It made you incredible. Okay. Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It made me incredible.
I agree. So, Miss Kimberly, I do thank you so much for taking the time to come on Win TV, and I'm hoping it's not the last time. I know that you have many stories to tell.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you coming out and taking the time. Is there any last words you may want to say to the audience?
Theresa is responsible for me doing this. I'm just going to look right in the camera and say she has been trying to get me to come and do this. It has been text after text after text. Well, you know, you can do this if you want. So I give thanks to God for Theresa Harris. Okay? That's the last thing I'm going to say. Because you are incredible. I mean, you touch so many lives, and everybody, and look at her, isn't she cute? She's going to be 70.
Oh, stop.
She's going to be, look at this.
I love you. You know
I love
that.
you
I
too.
love you.
That's right. Absolutely.
Oh, so guys, again, I thank you for watching Windsor Public Television, Diversity in the Community. I love bringing forth positive messages because we tend to share everything that's negative.
Right.
But let's share something positive. I thank you guys for hanging in there with me for since 2008, and I know that you're going to continue. So once you see this, the YouTube video, please share it. I know it'll be live on Win TV also. But I thank you again for watching us, and have a good day, morning, evening, whenever you watch this show. Have a good day, and thank you again. Bye-bye.